rehabilitated, and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
All right, welcome to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I wanted to talk to you about the situation that we see unfolding on Martha's Vineyard after Governor Ron Desantis has sent a bunch of illegal aliens to that area of the country, letting leftists get a dose of their own medicine. I'm going to explain to you why I think this is a good thing. Obviously, he's piggybacked on the idea of Governor Abbott, but it's working out fabulously. And also Governor Doug Ducey of Arizona. All of them, in my opinion, are doing a good job of making sure the rest of America feels just a tiny bit of the pain that they're feeling in these states, or in my state, Florida, but also in Arizona and Texas, which are border states that are feeling it exponentially worse even than us. And I'll tell you why. I went from believing that this was just kind of a, this is a cool little political tactic, having a little fun, but I don't think it's going to do much. I'm going to tell you why I was completely wrong and they were completely right. But first, I want you to watch this video because an illegal alien himself, standing in front of the vice president's residence, Kamala Harris, gives up the ghost. Let's play the video here, Gabe, please.
Everybody believes that the border is open. It's open because we enter, we come in. Free.
It's open for you to come illegally, right?
Illegally, yes, illegally, that's true. Because we see it on the news that everybody coming illegally. So we also do the same.
All right, so he's doing the same. They know that the borders are wide open with the Biden administration in charge. And listen, they have an opportunity to seek a better life in America. America is the greatest country on God's green earth, contrary to what the left says. So here they are. Let me tell you why I think this is a very good idea for Governor Greg Abbott, Governor Doug Ducey, Governor Ron DeSantis. I want to give them all credit here. But out of sight, out of mind. Is that remember that saying, out of sight, out of mind? What the left doesn't want to do is make you, they want to get you distracted on what's happening with Trump and what they're doing with President Trump. They want to put him on the ballot when their policy should be on the ballot this November. I believe Trump will be on the ballot in November of 2024. But we need to put their policies on the ballot. The COVID lockdowns, the energy crisis, the identity politics, the trans issues that are that the left is trying to impose on us, crime, the censorship. It's absolutely astonishing to me. Censorship of our first speech rights, the overspending and taxation that has led us into this inflation, the weakening of our military, making our military woke, education, teaching all of this CRT and social emotional learning to our kids in pre-K all the way through college now in order to indoctrinate students, right? So this is stuff that we need to be talking about. Our energy crisis that is fully a problem of the left, and obviously our border crisis. Their policies are destroying the United States, and they want to pretend, with the help of the media, with the help of big tech, that these things aren't happening. So by sending these illegal aliens to Martha's Vineyard, to New York City, right, and to other parts of the country, to these blue cities, they claim that they're sanctuary cities, sanctuary states. We're seeing that they're the phonies that we knew they were. They were simply virtue signaling. And now, no longer, this is what's most important about this, no longer can these fools on the left deny the problem that exists at our southern border. As of today, the Washington Free Beacon posted that we're looking at about 8,000 people, illegal aliens, crossing into our country daily at this point. This is a record high. This is a record high. It's almost as if more illegal aliens are trying to come in, knowing that Biden could potentially lose the White House in 2024, and knowing that Republicans will likely at least take over the House and possibly the Senate in November. So this is a good thing. They will no longer be able to ignore the problem. The left won't. And their cities, their constituents will no longer be able to ignore the problem that is occurring on the southern border. I want to address a couple of issues. I want to address a couple of issues real quick, because there's some critics out there that say, listen, busing illegal migrants across the country, that's exacerbating the problem, right? You're taking these people that are on these border states and you're moving them into the interior. So you're not doing anything to help the situation. Au contraire, mon frere. When you force liberals to pay attention to their own freaking policies, you can bet your bottom dollar that something's going to be done. Muriel Bowser, right? This lady wanted to, I'm not sure if she implemented another emergency order to deal with the crisis that she's experiencing in Washington, D.C., when a couple thousand illegal aliens were busted into Washington, D.C., but you get Texas, you get Arizona, where you got thousands coming across the border daily that they have to deal with. And it's because of these liberal policies. It's very, very important. They're not exacerbating the problem. Greg Abbott and Governor Desantis nor Governor Ducey, they're simply exposing the problem. They're taking the issue seriously by making sure that everybody has to remember that we have a crisis on the border. You need a two-pronged attach. Yes, you have to deal with this stuff legislatively when Republicans get some power, but also you have to fight back against the narrative of the left. And this is very important. A lot of Republicans don't think about this. We're not used to fighting this way, but this is very important. We have to be able to control the narrative, and when we get power, we have to make sure that we implement legislation that will secure the border, much like the Remain in Mexico policy that Joe Biden, as soon as he got in office, he totally dismantled. The border was under control. Yes, at some point in time during Trump's administration, the border was not as secure as it should be. Illegal aliens were coming in, not near to this number, but Trump got it under control. He implemented that Remain in Mexico policy. Absolutely brilliant, forcing people to stay in Mexico, and then they would determine whether or not they were legitimate asylum seekers or not, if they were legitimately fleeing persecution, or a tyrant or religious persecution or what have you. And when you find out that isn't the case, these people had to go back to their countries, and they only made it to Mexico. So what happened? I mean, you're talking about legal immigration dried up. Yeah, we still had some that trickled in, but the numbers were few and far between compared to what we're seeing now. And this is very important. So they are not exacerbating the problem by sending illegals across the country. They're exposing the problem. They're making leftists look at their own policies and how they're destroying the country. And now what we're seeing in Martha's Vineyard with the snooty little people there, where the average house is I think $1.325 million. I think what is the median income of Martha's Vineyard? It's over $70,000. But you look at some of these border towns where the average income is average or median income is I think it's 44,000. I mean, that's a big jump. But these people that go to Martha's Vineyard in these rich neighborhoods, right? I mean, you're talking about $1.325 million homes, and these are second homes for a lot of these people. Right? So these are people that can talk the talk, but they don't want to walk the walk. They just want a virtue signal. Yes, we're for diversity, we're for equity, we're for inclusion, as long as you don't come into my neighborhood. Right? But the rest of you little poor people in America, you guys deal with it. You guys compete for jobs. You guys compete for housing in Uvalde and these other border states. But we don't want to compete for housing, and we don't want to deal with these little illegal immigrants here in Martha's Vineyard. Complete frauds. That's what they are. They're complete frauds. That's why I say that we're on the Carl Jackson Show podcast. We're your daily dose of objective truth in a world of lies. And these people are a bunch of liars. Their truth is subjective. It's arbitrary. It's based upon how they feel at any particular given moment. Now, some of you would say, "Oh, Carl, you're a Christian. You should be allowing." Jesus was a refugee. These asylum seekers. The Christian thing to do is to allow them to break our laws and let them into the country. First off, here's what I say to all of you Christians that are saying, hey, we need to be kind to these refugees. First off, legally, learn the freaking law. They're not refugees. So this is a sad thing. This is my people that I'm speaking to, right? I love Christians. I'm a Christian. I love them, but they're just absolutely wrong on this. It's feelings over substance. It is not biblical. It is not biblical. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read you a passage from a column real quick. Jesus wasn't a refugee. A lot of these people like to say, well, Mary or Mary and Joseph, were refugees. No, Mary and Joseph weren't refugees. And you're lying, or you're uninformed, or you're an uninformed Christian if you say otherwise. Study the freaking Bible. Don't just read it. Oh, my God. Jesus was a refugee. Complete and utter lie. Complete and utter nonsense. 8,000 migrants entering. But let's talk about this real quick. You think it's compassionate, you Christians out there, or you liberals out there, you think it's compassionate to allow people to break into the country illegally? So first off, you have to understand, you want people to break the law. You think that's the Christian thing to do? You think the Christian thing to do is to tell people they should break the law? Using the strength or the strong arm of the federal government? Did God call the federal government, or did he call you to be a people of compassion? That's first and foremost. You guys are just virtue signaling like the people in Martha's Vineyard. Do you think it's compassionate when the people that come here illegally, many of the women, at least 60%, are sexually assaulted, some used to create porn videos? You think that's kind? You think it's kind? You think what you're doing is kind and compassionate when illegal aliens come into our states, our cities, our townships? And I'm all for legal immigration, but I'm totally opposed to illegal immigration. It is not right. It is wrong. It is morally wrong. You once suggested another country break their laws, would you? Christians and you leftists at Martha's Vineyard? It's absolutely astonishing to me. So not only are children being sex trafficked, and women and even little boys, you guys are for this, right? We only want to look at what's happening on our side of the border, but think about the trek here. Are you guys okay with people drowning to get here? You okay with people dying in the desert to get here? You're okay with the Mexican cartels treating these people like cattle? You're okay with the Chinese Communist Party using some of these people along with the Mexican cartel to bring fentanyl into the country to kill Americans? You guys are okay with this? You lefties and you Christians that don't know what the hell you're talking about? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And not to mention lower income people that you claim to want to help, middle class Americans that you claim to want to help, now have to compete for food, now have to compete for housing and jobs with illegal immigrants. Now, if they were legal, if they took the right route to get into this country, no problem, right? Because we can adjust to that. We can't adjust to 8,000 people busting in the country and invading the country on a daily basis because of the Democrat policies that you guys support. Let me just read this real quick here. This is from Shreveport Times. The trite rhetoric that Jesus' human parents were poor, homeless migrants is unabridged fiction and not worthy of repetition. Joseph, husband of Mary, was a skilled tradesman, a carpenter, in the small city of Nazareth. That was their home. They trekked to Bethlehem because Rome ordered them to go to pay Rome's taxes and report their residence and other personal information to Rome. So that's why they were on the trek. When they arrived at Bethlehem, all the inns were full of people who had gone there to comply with the government's edict. So they were not refugees. That's what was happening. That's the backstory. Joseph could afford a hotel room, but none were vacant, or, he could afford an inn, if you will, but none were vacant. They were able to rent lodging in a stable, and Jesus was born in the stable. The stable might have been safer and more private than the inns. In those times, inns were known for communal beds and for robbery and assault. But you understand, they went to Rome based upon an edict from their government. So they were not refugees. That is a complete and utter lie. That is a myth. And I don't know how Christians could read the Bible and fall for that nonsense unless they don't study the Bible. So let's just get that out of the way right here and now. So these people in Martha's Vineyard, they're not good people. They're not nice people, right? They're just virtue signaling. That is all it is. They're virtue signaling. right? Oh, open borders, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Just make sure they please. I don't want them coming to Martha's Vineyard because I don't want to deal with the problems. I don't want to deal with, my property values being destroyed because perhaps we'll have homelessness, perhaps we'll have crime that we never saw with just 50 migrants. These people are utterly disgusting. They're fake. So I applaud what Governor Abbott and Governor Desantis and Governor Ducey are doing to make sure that the southern border crisis is illuminated, as the left tries to make sure, and their cohorts in the media try to make sure that America forgets that we have a border crisis by shipping these illegal immigrants to these blue cities, to these blue areas that are sanctuary areas. They're proving what we've known. These people are fake. These people are frauds. They are virtue signaling. They are not kind. They don't give a damn about the plight of illegal aliens. They don't give a damn about the suffering that these people have to go through to get here. And they don't give a damn about the poor and the middle class Americans, who are the ones that are going to be most impacted by illegal immigration when it comes to jobs and housing and food and schooling, because their little kids can go to private schools where they get to stay away from all of the illegal aliens. This is who these people are. This is who we're going to be defeating in November. Remember that. These people are not kind. They don't want their cities and towns to be overrun. It's easy to be generous with other people's money. It's also easy to be generous with other people's hospitality. Open borders. Just don't let them come to Martha's Vineyard. We don't want to have to take care of them. But these poor cities can do it. These red states can do it. Blue policies, but we want red states to take care of the problem. No, you don't. You don't get that. You don't get to have that way, your way. And you're not kind and considerate and compassionate people. And I'm saying, as a Christian, I'm saying this to the Christians that say that, the Catholics that say this, that's making sure that law breaking continues. You're sinning. You're not doing the will of God, you freaking phony. Learn your Bible. Sorry, you're not doing the will of God by enabling illegal immigration. It's total, complete, and utter nonsense. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I just wanted to get that rant out there. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast everywhere podcasts are found. TheCarlJacksonShow.com, SalemPodcastNetwork.com, Apple, Google, Spotify, and Rumble. Follow me on all social media sites at The Carl Jackson Show. Help out my homie Mike Lindell at My Pillow. Guys, you can fight for a man. Look at what the left is trying to do. Just complete lawlessness, trying to take him down, trying to take President Trump down, the FBI, DOJ. Complete and utter nonsense. So we can all fight back, right? Go to MyPillow.com. Buy something today. Use the promo code Carl, whatever you're searching for. I do want to remind you that they do have a special on their Giza Dream Sheets. They have a special on their Perkel sheets, $29.98. Even their slippers right now, $29.98. So go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener square, use that promo code Carl, C-A-R-L, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. And guys, like I do every day, I like to remind you that you're not just supporting Mike Lindell, you're supporting American manufacturing and American jobs. You are supporting a patriot in Mike Lindell, and you're helping to support this podcast too. So buy your Christmas presents early, or you just want some comfort right now, mypillow.com, radio listener square Carl, or give them a call, 800-858-0263. Guys, until next time, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.